Hi, I'm Debbie with Book and Bujo. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today is going to be a super fun project because I am doing a collaboration with Q-Fun Laminators, and so we are going to see what different types of things that I have in my house that I can laminate for better use and to keep them for just a little bit longer. With the laminator, you get a lot of fun little gadgets, as well as some laminating sheets in 3 different sizes. So you have the A6 size, you have an A5, and an A4. So letter size, most bullet journal size, and then kind of that almost passport traveler size. So let's go ahead and open up the laminator, show you what kind of fun gadgets and other things there are, and then I'm going to get laminating, and I'll take you along for the ride. And again, a big thank you to Q-Fun Laminators for collaborating with me and sending this amazing laminator for me to try. I have quite a few projects in mind that I want to use that for. I have my TBRopoly cards, as well as my affirmation and intention cards that I use every day. Anything that I have with paper that I would like to kind of hold on to for a little bit longer and keep in a little bit better condition, I will definitely be laminating. I also have some bookmark ideas. I got these ones from a Journal Say order, and they're kind of a cardstock, and so it'd be nice to laminate these. This one's an example. I've had this one for a long time, so eventually it can kind of crack with the lamination. I mean, I've had this since I was a kid, so it's been a while. But laminating my bookmarks to keep them lasting a little bit longer. And even the ones from G at Book Roast with the nice foil on them, I can put these through the laminator on the cold setting to keep the front of them nice and pristine and still have them nice and laminated. So those are some other projects I'm thinking of. All right, so you would turn your laminator on, and it first goes to the cold, and you'll see the light blinks, and that means it's warming up or doing its thing. And then you would do mode switch to switch between the 3mm and the 5mm and the cold, depending on what you want. Now your laminator paper should say what it is. This one is thermal laminating sheets 3mm, so I'm going to set it to the 3mm setting. And then once it's ready, it'll be a solid green light as opposed to the blinking one that it has now. And while that's heating up, I'll show some of the papers that I have. So the laminating sheets. This one did come with the paper size, or the A4. It comes with the A5 size, and then it comes with an A6 size as well, which makes it really fun for being able to laminate photos and all other different size items that you may have. With all the laminating sheets, you have one side that's sealed at the top and one that is open, so you can slide your item inside and then close it and put it through. So you always want to make sure that the sealed side goes into the machine, because if you put this side into the machine, it may open up and then maybe crooked and may get stuck in the machine, and you don't want that because it will seal itself to the machine. So you want to make sure it's always the closed side that goes into the machine itself. Now on this one, it does show when you enter, it has the settings on here for A6 here, and then A5 and A4. So you can line it up and see what size your paper is. So it comes with your instruction booklet here in a couple different languages. And then what's really cool, on the inside of this little storage spot, it does have your warnings here on the inside, but it comes with your little paper cutter. It comes with little rings, so in case you want to hook everything together. And just beware, this does get a little warm, but it's not too hot to touch it. But you do want to be careful. It comes with a corner punch. It also comes with an extra blade for your paper cutter, and it comes with a little hole punch, which is super fun. So you can make your hole punch and then put your ring in it. I'm going to put all of these back in here for now. So again, it has all the different sections and what everything is in here, as well as some other parameters here. Operating instructions. So on the back, it does have this little thing here. So if for some reason something's happening and your sheet went in crooked, you can push this all the way to this side and it will stop where it is, and you can try and pull it back out before it gets too far into the machine. So if you put it in open side first, or if it starts getting crooked, you can try and save it. So you want to push that and pull your stuff out at the same time. And again, you have your corner rounder. It's not a real big corner, it's kind of a small one. So it's not sharp, but it does round it out just a little bit. And then any caution, so again, folded side in and open side facing you, and only one laminating film through at a time. You don't want to do multiple at once, and you want to make sure it goes in straight and not crooked. And any troubleshooting here on this one. Today I'm going to be doing some of my bookmarks that I keep at the beginning of my bullet journal, because some of these are nice to have and I want to keep them nice looking and not getting frayed, as you can see with the corner here of both of these. But the other thing that's nice with this is you should be able to write on this with a dry erase marker and then erase it too whenever you want. So then you can actually write on these as well, which is really cool. So you want to put it all the way up to the top here and center it. You'd rather have the extra space all around than have it be completely over to one side. And the same with these ones here. I'm going to find the edge. I'm actually going to put this side up because that's a little cleaner, would be a little straighter. So I have my grid space guide, which is the one I really want to laminate because I think that will really help it, because I use it a lot and I want to make sure it stays safe. And then when you cut around this, especially if you have a couple of them in there, it's just a little bit over. You want to make sure you still leave a little bit of space, so a little bit of the lamination on the edges, because you don't want it to open up later on. So like years later, you don't want it to start opening up at the side because you cut it too far in. Just a nice little tip. Okay, so the light is completely lit, so that means it is ready to go. So again, you want the open side towards you. I think I keep saying this because I've done this before. I've put the open side in, and the machine that I used for that, it was a real cheap one we had at work. We had to throw it away and get a new one because it stuck in there and you couldn't even open the machine up. Yeah, it was awful. So don't do that. The sealed side in first. So you line it up with your A6 here, because this one's an A6. And it'll grab it. Don't push it through, just let it go on its own. And then it will come out on this side. Depending on how long it is, I may hold my hand out here just so it doesn't fall off the side of my desk or whatever. And it is a little warm when it comes out. And then it is fully laminated. And we'll do some trimming up in just a minute. I'm going to let this cool a bit while I feed through my other one. So again, double check, open side towards you. Line it up with the A5 section, because this one's an A5 one. Put it in there straight as you can, and it'll catch it. And it will pull it through on its own. You don't need to help it. And then it'll come back out the other side, all nice and laminated. And it doesn't take really long at all. There are the different functions on here. So again, you have the 5mm if you have 5mm paper or laminating sheets. You have the 3mm, which is what I have right now, and then you have a cold one. Now the cold one works with either the 3 or the 5mm laminating sheets, but for that one you would use it for photos. So if you're going to have photos or something that has foiling on it, then you would put it inside the laminating sheets, and then on the cold setting you would put it through, and it only heats it from the bottom, and the top is still cold. So it still adheres it to itself, but it doesn't mess up the foiling or the picture that might be inside by any bubbles or wrinkles or anything else that may happen. It doesn't heat up the top of your picture to preserve it. So if you're doing photos or anything that has foil and sparkle, glitter, that kind of stuff, use the cold setting. And then once you're done, you would just turn your machine off and just wait for a little bit for it to cool down, and you're good to go. Okay, so let's move that back, and I'm going to pull out the paper cutter. I wouldn't recommend using a regular paper cutter on this. I would use the one that it comes with, just because this is thicker than paper, because it is plastic and you don't want a dull one that you use specifically for paper. That was one thing I grew up with my mom and my aunt being quilters and sewers and all that. Fabric scissors for fabric, paper scissors for paper. Paper never comes near your fabric scissors because it will dull the scissors. So again, this works just like a regular paper cutter. It opens up and you would line up with where it is that you want to cut. So we want to leave a little bit of an edge. Let me pull you in a little bit closer here. Okay, you want to leave a little bit of an edge so that you don't cut right next to whatever it is you just laminated. And then you would come up and just cut right through. And there we go. So let's get the other two sides here. And it does have the centimeters and inches on here for the ruler in case you need that. This one I'm just going to eyeball. They're going to be about the same all the way around. And that just cuts so smoothly. And you don't need to do the top because that's already been laminated originally. That was your fold or your sealed end, so you don't want to cut that. So now we have our bookmark all laminated. And now we want to take care of these sharp corners. So that's where your corner rounder comes in. And it's just going to be the very edge that it rounds out. So it's not going to cut it all the way back to here and have this nice big curve like the paper does. It's going to be much thinner there. It'll be a much smaller curve on the end, but it does get rid of that pokey bit. Go. One more corner. Whoops. I didn't quite get that one in there all the way. And there we go. The bookmark is ready. So the other thing you could do is to pull out your hole punch if you want, and you could put a hole in here and then put the ring on it. Say you want to do a bunch of these that have your ink swatches on them and you want to preserve the inks that are on them. You don't want them to fade or anything but from the air getting in them. Then you could do the hole punch on there and then you put them all in a ring so you can flip through them all as you go. For my bookmarks, I don't necessarily do that, but that would be a great idea for these too. All right, now for this one. This one is the one I'm so excited to have and have it be all nice and good again. I should have looked at that a little bit better before I put it in there. So make sure all your corners are up before you laminate them. Let's go ahead and get this one trimmed up. Let's see. I'm going to do about the same as we did on the last ones. Yeah, that cutter is so smooth. I love it. Actually, I think the two ends are fine. Let's do just a little bit on this one. Not too much. And this one does have a little tab here. That's helpful. And then I'll need to cut these two apart so they are two separate bookmarks. Yeah, that tab works nice to to pick up the little ledge. Okay. And I didn't get this one in there quite as straight as I wanted, so I may have to play with that a little bit when I cut it. Okay, there's this one. Let's get those corners. And again, I would be careful with using a paper corner rounder on these because they're not necessarily going to be as sharp, and it won't be quite as easy to cut through these, the laminating sheets. So I would just be careful with that. You can play around with it, but I know the one I have doesn't work very well with this. It's not quite heavy duty enough for it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, it's not too bad. Let's see what I need to do to cut this one straight to the bookmark and not the laminating sheet. There we go. Perfect. So I'm still playing around. I'm still playing just with corner rounders in general. Sometimes I get it in there all wonky and it doesn't work very well, even with my paper one. So I'm definitely not an expert, but you do want to make sure you get it lined up well. And with this one, it actually works. It lines up pretty well. It doesn't go too far in there, so you can't mess it up too bad. But oh, I'm so excited to be able to use this one now. And I could add more out here with permanent marker or with a dry erase marker and then erase that later on if I would like to, and if I need more options on here. But these are the basic separations that I use, or grid spacing that I use in my bullet journal. So this is going to be amazing. And again, move this to one side, put your corner rounder back in there, and then this goes, where's that go? Okay, so you want to make sure it's on the left-hand side at the bottom when you're looking at it this way, and then it fits in here. And you put it back in here, and then it lays nice and flat, and it's all good to go. And then I would recommend unplugging your machine when it's not in use, and once it give it a little bit of time to cool down. Once it's cooled down, it's still a little warm on this side, but once it's cooled down, then you can put it back away or leave it out. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. It's a fairly compact size, but it's also still feels a little heavy duty, and I love that. So again, I have my grid spacing guide, I have my intentions monthly template, and my reflections monthly template. So at the end of each month, these are some of the questions that I ask myself. And then also, it's the same thing here. I have intentions here and my reflections here in just a little bit different format, but it's a lot of the same information. And I got all of the questions for these from Journal Away and from Laminator, and I will leave both of their channels linked down below in case you want to check out the way they do their reflections and intentions. All right, and then now this is where I will keep these wonderful bookmarks and they will stay nice and safe in my little bookmark pocket, and the tops that stick out a little bit won't get damaged as I move around my journal. And thank you again so much for QFun Laminator reaching out for this collaboration with their amazing laminator. And I've never seen one that actually comes with so many fun little toys that go along with it. Usually it's just the laminator and that's it. You don't even get any laminating sheets or anything. And this one, you get 3 different size laminating sheets and like 3 of each of the different sizes, as well as 3 different settings on the machine. So you could do cold for your photos and foil and things like that. And then the 3 mil and the 5 mil, depending on what the thickness of your laminating sheets are. If you're interested in the Laminator, I will leave a link in the description box below. It is an affiliate link at no extra cost to you, but if you click on that link and purchase the machine, then I get a little bit back from that. And now I have a few more little bookmarks to laminate, and I have some other fun ideas that I have in store for this Laminator with some of my TBR Opley cards, my odds and my evens most definitely, as well as my affirmation and intention card decks that I have. I would like to laminate all of these as well. I did a test run and did a couple of them already, and it worked amazing because some of the paper I am using is a little on the thin side. So I plan on doing all of my card deck here. And I will do a separate video for that. I already purchased some more laminating sheets so that I can get that done. And it's nice because I can use either the A6 pages for it and get one of them in there, or I could use the A5 and get 2, or I could put them on the A4 paper and get, you know, up to 8 of them on there at a time to laminate. So stay tuned for this project coming up. And again, if you are interested in doing some lamination for your bullet journals, for your planners, just for everyday things around the house that you use all the time, then the Q-Fun Laminator is the way to go, most definitely. The other bookmark I have that I really want to do is, well, for my mid-year reset questions. These are from Jashi Curran. And then the other one is one of my templates. So I want to do an updated one for how I set up my weeklies, so I can just have it in boom, boom, boom all the way down instead of having to count and freehand and whatever, all the rest of them for 30 to 31 days. I want to create my template, and this is a great one for laminating, especially since this is just the dot grid paper, and then I can cut out the square on the inside as well. I would do that with scissors. You kind of bend a little snip here and then you kind of cut through, but this would be a lot sturdier if it was laminated, and this would be a great option. The other option is to just cut it exactly the size that you want and go all the way around. So stay tuned for this one coming up. I finally got my grid space guide all laminated, and this is going to keep this one going for much longer, so I don't have to make a new one, which is going to be amazing, especially since I moved back into an A5 bullet journal. I may make another one for my square notebooks because I have a few of those I will be using for my reading journals in the future. And then I also have 2 different styles of my monthly intentions and reflections. You can use these for weekly reflections, or you can use them for monthly reflections, or both. So I'm very excited to keep these on hand because these are the ones that I use the most that I have, but I do have some other ones. I'm also toying with a couple of templates for some of my weeklies when I set those up, to make it a little easier to get those set up each month with a little template that is laminated, so it's a little stronger and will hold up to all of the use that I have for it. So thank you so much for stopping by and playing with this laminator with me. And I can't wait to see you again in another video. And please check out the link below. It is an affiliate link at no extra cost to you. It will give me just a little bit of something. So if you would like to support my channel, I would really appreciate that. But the link down below to the laminator. I appreciate all of your support and your love. And I would love to find out if you have ever used a laminator. Leave that down in the comments below and let me know some of the ideas that you have that you would either like to see me try, or that you have tried yourself with success, or maybe not so much success. I would love to find those out as well. And please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other planning content. And until next time, keep playing. Bye!